Hi, everybody. Welcome to It's Busy. Here we go. Hi, everybody. It's Busy. It is episode 571. You sometimes just think, I just have to float. There's so many changes all the time and so many things that we are all powerless over. I learned that in a 12-step program that I'm powerless. You're like, what do you mean? I got power. I thought I had power. And the reality is, the older I get, the less power I have. So many things are changing all the time. And it's always been like this in my life. I've always had change. I mean, look at now I just got a new puppy, which is a huge change. I haven't been potty training an animal for about 5 years. And this dog is a little bit more challenging than my other dog because she's just a puppy and I'm in today and I'm older. I guess that's what it is. And realizing that it's always changing is sometimes so hard. It's so hard, life. And again, I have said this numerous times and I'm going to keep saying this. I don't mean like hard, like pushing a boulder up the mountain, trying to feed your children. I think that would be really, really, really hard, trying to get water for your child. But change is hard. And what has happened to me is like I've had all these moves. And the reality is that and I always love to say that the reality is because for so long I don't think I lived in reality. I lived like an ostrich. Put my head in the sand. It didn't really matter. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get through this. Give me a drink or give me something to keep me busy and I'm going to be okay. And the reality is staying busy all the time. It's not sustainable to stay busy all the time. I'm not a person that goes and looks at my past a lot of times. I'm just not one of those people. I don't go and reflect and I don't go look at old pictures and all the rest of it, but it's been happening just by osmosis. And what I'm recognizing is that I've had so many changes in my life in general. So my life has been a constant change and shifting, shifting, shifting. Nothing was ever constant. My parents, my mom and dad moved a bunch of times. So that was like a change. My parents didn't get along and got divorced. That was a change. I lived with my dad. That was a change. Then I lived with my mom. That was a change because she moved in a different town, totally far away. Then I moved to Philadelphia, change, did not like that at all, at all, at all. Then I moved to Washington, D.C. for college. That was change. Then I moved to Colorado with some friends. That was change. Went from Colorado to Philadelphia, stayed in Philadelphia in this state of constantly going, oh my gosh, I don't feel comfortable. I don't like it. I can't wait till I can leave here. I can't wait till I can leave Philadelphia. I can't wait. I can't wait. I couldn't leave because I had these kids and I had to raise them. And so I stayed in that house. I guess I've owned that house now for 19 years and I lived there with my kids. It's just been whatever. I stayed in that house in Wayne and then I came to Florida and I wasn't comfortable in this place. And then I wasn't comfortable in that place. And then I wasn't comfortable in this place. And the reality is it's all inside of me. It's all inside of me, right? And instead of going and packing up my bags, going, I'm going to move again. I'm going to move again. I'm going to move again. I have to, I sometimes I just have to float. And that's what I've been doing for 102 days, you guys. I've been floating for 102 days. And how do I know that I've been floating for 102 days? Because I started journaling at night. And I don't know why on Saturday night, I decided to go back and I said, when did I start doing this every night? Writing down my thoughts every night. It's like, dear God, this is what's happened today. And this is how I'm feeling. And I started doing that on May 29th, 2025. So I go into ChatGPT and I said, how many days has it been since May 29th? And ChatGPT said it's been 100 days. So today is what? So yesterday was 101, 102, 103 days I've been doing this journaling every night. And it has been it's been helpful. It's been really eye-opening. And then looking back over past pictures has also been eye-opening. It's admitting that life is not perfect by any stretch of imagination. Marriage is hard. Marriage is really hard. And especially if you communicate in two different ways. And I don't think you realize this, that you communicate in two different ways until you're in it and you've been in it for a while and you go, okay, we're done with the buying of the stuff and we're done going on the dates. We're just living in real life. We're dealing with real financial issues. How are we doing this? How are we navigating this? And, we navigate things differently as 2 different people. We just do. And it's it's difficult for me because I want to make this person, my spouse, into something that I want him to be. I want him to see things the way that I see things. I want him to realize that I'm right, of course. I want him to realize all those things and all that's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And so then do you just walk away and say, "You know what? I'm going to take my ball and I'm going to go home." Or is it sticking it out and fighting for what you promised your family and you said to God, "I'm going to stay married." And do you stay there or do you walk away? And it's difficult. It's difficult. But what I was trying to say is that, marriage is hard. Navigating those communications is hard. I'm not going to throw the towel in, and realizing some days just floating is the answer. And I mean, literally, I don't mean literally getting in my pool and floating or getting into the ocean and floating. I mean, just floating through life sometimes. Like we have no idea what is going to happen. We all know we're going to die. That I know is true. Not only am I doing the journaling at night, now I'm doing journaling in the morning and I'm writing the things that I'm grateful for so I can change the way I'm thinking in the morning. Cause sometimes I wake up like, oh my God, this is so hard. Do you guys relate to that? Like, oh, another day. Uh, and instead of waking up and going, "Oh my gosh, it's another day. I have to be happy." I'm like, I wake up like, ah. But if I write and I go, "Okay, this is what I'm grateful for. This is what my dreams are. This is the steps I can take to get to my dreams," right? I can write that down. I can write down an affirmation like, "I am trying." That is so huge. I've written in my journal for over 100 days. That is huge. I mean, I don't know that if you had told me to do something like this in my 20s, I would have done it. I wouldn't have. I would have been like, "That's a waste of time. Let me go get a cocktail." So realizing I've done that is huge. I'm reading The Purpose Driven Life again. I've read it once. I'm reading it again. I wrote in it, I hope I can find this book in my storage unit, the one that I already did, because I want to compare, which would be kind of interesting. And it makes you identify like, what is your purpose? And it's not, your purpose can't be like, my purpose is to make good kids, or my purpose is to have a history for my grandchildren one day that they can go back and watch videos of me. That can't be the purpose of my life. It can't be your marriage, can't be the purpose of your life. Your purpose of your life is doing God's will. And whatever God has you here for is Rick Warren's ideas behind this book. And what you do with doing these exercises is you get to this point where you identify, what is God's purpose for me to be here? I know one of my purposes is to share with you guys that you're not alone. You're not going crazy if you're having feelings like I'm talking about. You're not going crazy. It's hard. This stuff is difficult and a lot of people don't talk about it, especially in social settings, especially in the social settings that I grew up in. The purpose driven life, it's identifying what is my purpose, because we're all hopefully going to get to heaven one day and we're all going to be like, okay, God's going to be like, okay, you did a great job. I don't think I'm going to be like Carlos, who just was made a saint, which is so exciting. I actually saw his body in rest in Assisi, but realizing I don't know that I'm going to get that sainthood. I would like to, but face it, I'm old and I don't know how long I've been a saint. I don't know if I've been a saint ever. That's for sure. I've been a seeker. That's one thing I will own. I've been a seeker, and realizing that this floating through all these changes in my life, I feel like sometimes we just have to float because we don't know what to do. So I write, I journal twice a day. I do the purpose driven life. So I have 35 more days on that. And start journaling if you're feeling like I'm feeling, by the way. Start it. See how you feel. See how you feel after you start journaling and see if that gives you hope. If that gives you an ability to say, you know what, I'm just for today going to journal. And then floating isn't failure. It's a survival technique with faith. Because if we're floating, we trust, right? So I know when I'm in the ocean and I put my arms out and I'm very buoyant. I don't know why, but I am. And so when I get into my pool or the ocean, I can just lay there and I can float for a really long time. To float is to trust. If you don't float, you don't trust. So if you're constantly failing, going, I can't do this, this feels uncomfortable. Being able to float is so an act of trust. So try to float, even though it might not feel comfortable. You don't have to feel perfect to be okay. You don't have to know what's going to happen. You don't have to have the script, or you don't have to have a play-by-play of what's going to happen in the future. Because let's face it, none of us have that. You might have things lined up and still life happens. Somebody gets sick, unfortunately. Something happens that you have no control over. And you have to pivot at all times. Being in this place of not hiding your head in the sand, but instead of hiding your head, by trusting and just saying, I don't know what this is going to look like. And it feels really uncomfortable. And reaching out to somebody is so huge. Like reaching out to me at elizabeth@elizabethchance.com would be huge. And you would get my newsletter to your inbox if you go to elizabethchance.com, by the way. And it will prompt you there to sign up for with the newsletter. But if you have questions and you're feeling alone, where we all humans get to, I think it doesn't matter if you live in a big house or if you live in a tiny little box. The reality is we all are feeling a little bit alone at times. And we all have a lot of change going around us at all times. And we all are going through this together. And how do we manage it? We trust. We float. We go, this too shall pass. I can't react to things that I have no power over. I know I want to react. I want to be the director of everybody that I know's life, right? I do. I want to have judgment. Ugh, I hate judging other people because I have no idea what it's like to walk in anybody's shoes, including like my spouse or my kids. Let's be honest. I have no idea what it's like to walk in their shoes because I don't live in their bodies. Assuming that I know what it's like is kind of like makes an ass out of me, right? I have no idea what it's like to experience school by themselves. They've had many life experiences without me, and for me to judge why they do certain things and why they're with certain people is none of my business. That's humbling, my friends. It's hugely humbling. Floating isn't about being lost. Floating is trusting God to carry you until you can land again. Don't you love that? You guys, I'm floating over here. If you're floating and you want somebody to hold your hand as you float, reach out to me. I will float with you. You won't have to be by yourself. I can float with you. I can float with you. I can hold your hand. I can listen to you. I'm bringing the puppy into the screen. If you're watching on YouTube, there she is. I have to go take her out to go to the bathroom for the 800th time today. But I've made a lot of changes in my life, as I've mentioned, and I can't go back and change any of them. All I need to do is do things differently. Instead of reacting, I'm just going to float. So let me know if you want to float with me. Reach out to me. I'm on all social medias. It's Bizzy Podcast on Instagram. It's Bizzy Bizzy Says on TikTok. Go to my website. It's all at the bottom of my website. You can just click those icons and it'll take you to all my social media. Go to elizabethchance.com, ELIZABETH chance.com. And until next time, you guys stay well. Know you're not alone. And guess what? Oh, by the way, I want to say one last thing. A lot of people ask me about my jewelry. We're going to talk about this on Thursday, my collaboration I just did with CB Jewelry about being fearless. I have the Blessed Mother, beautiful Blessed Mother on my neck. I want to just tell you, if you're interested in my jewelry, go to CB Jewelry. It will be in the link in my podcast. And if you put in the code BIZZY, I will get credit for it, which would mean the world to me. And it mean the world to the ladies, Shaundi and Tina. But half my necklaces I wear are from there because they're all driven by God, and it just makes me feel closer and less alone. So if you want information on that, I'm going to have a CB Jewelry link in my description. You can just go click there and put in Bizzy, and it'll be amazing. So until next time, you guys, again, take care and thanks for listening. Bye. Thanks for listening, and please subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast, or if you're watching me on YouTube, press subscribe. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.